Can you all be quiet for a sec? Right. So, yeah, this is quite funny doing this way. Okay. So, right. So we'll start with Q, right? And so the first thing in Q is, a lot of queries we get is about the password, right? So we have a link to request for a forgot password reset, right? So the first thing to know is if a new client says I haven't received Q login ID password, he just has to come here and enter the client ID, PAN, and date of birth. Okay. The other issue is if the date of birth and PAN is not captured right? So the person will not be able to actually reset the passwords. So a lot of people have a different date of birth on the PAN card, and the real date of birth is different, right? So people forget that as well, right? So in that case, they have to send us an email to uh, reset the password. They have to send an email to support@zerodha.com to reset the password. Okay, so one of the cool things we have here is we have this take a tour option, right? Right. So a take a tour option is, anyone who's not even a client at Zerodha can actually run through uh, through the entire Q and Quant demo, demo account. So there's a demo account. It's not real money, right? So I'll actually not do this whole demo. I'll log into one of the real accounts. Wait a sec. I need to log out. Okay, so before I log into an account, doesn't have any open positions on FNO, right? So if you on a pie chart, you see the small piece, the green piece, which is sticking out. This is basically, okay, when people write options, right, they receive premiums, right? And that premium is not really your money, right? That premium actually belongs to the client. So for example, if you write one lot of Nifty, say 100 Nifties, if you short at 100 rupees, you receive 10,000 rupees, right? Now, if that option expires at 0, entire 10,000 rupees is your profit. But assume the Nifty option comes down from 100 to 90, right? So your profit is only 10 points, right? So what this shows is that at every point of time, it shows basically how much money doesn't belong to you in your total equity account, right? So in this equity account, even though there's 23 lakhs, which is a balance, right? But this 4.98 lakhs doesn't really belong to him. Why? Because this is the amount of option premium he has received. As soon as he covers it, it'll go back. So at the bottom, as you can see here, we have this equity balance as 19.78 lakhs. So this is actually his cash balance in his account, right? So let me log into the real account now, right? So guys, you guys have any doubts at any point of time, you need to basically ask, right? So yeah, so this person is basically holding on to a lot of stocks, right? There is hardly any cash. There's only 97 rupees cash. So you don't really see the green color, portion in this donut chart, right? Okay, so if there's any commodity, because this person doesn't have any commodity account, so you don't see a donut chart for commodity account, right? So if you click on the holdings, so let's start from the holdings, right? The idea behind showing these two donut charts is to make sure everyone gets a quick view of what is happening on his account. So as you can see, we also have links to Bulletin and Z-Connect here, so right. So yeah, so you click on the holdings. So yeah, wherever you click on the on the donut chart, it'll take you to that link, right? So I can go to holdings either by going to portfolio and holdings, or I can go to holdings directly, so I can just come in, click on it. It takes me to holdings, right? Okay, so one of those good things that we have done here on the holdings page, I think we are the first ones in India to do it, is to actually show the holding period. So if you click on this plus button, you will see the different holding periods for different quantities, right? So like for the Amar Raja battery, there is a holding period of 6 stock of 173 days, and there is a holding period of 734 days, right? The importance of this is if you buy a stock and sell after 365 days, there is no tax you have to pay on any profit you have made, right? If you sell it before 365 days, you have to pay 15% as short-term capital gains tax, right? So which is very important. For example, one of those cases that happened last year was a client sold I think it was up 3 lakh rupees in profits. He sold it on 360 day from when he had bought. So he ended up paying like 15% of 3 lakhs, which is profit, which is 45,000 as short-term capital gain tax. If he had held for 5 days and sold after it, he would have had to pay no taxes at all, right? So what we're trying to do here is to basically show that how many days, So we've also done this whole small green tick bar, right? If you see all the green tick bar, so they are basically all which are long term. That means you can sell these stocks and you will not have to pay any long-term capital gain tax. Sorry, short-term capital gain tax, right? So, okay, we've also done a small little interesting thing. Each stock has a weightage and percentage next to it, right? So you can see the weightage column, right? So it'll show you weightage for whatever stocks you have. There is also separate rows for pledged holdings and RGSS holdings. So if someone has pledged stocks, it'll show in this column, in this box. Same way with RGSS as well, right? So yeah, so I guess all of you guys know that if someone wants to open an RGSS account, he has to open it at the start, right? He can't open an account and then say it is RGSS, right? And anyways, RGSS is quite a painful process, so I think it's best not to, actually open a RGSS account, So pledged accounts are actually quite simple. Now, another cool thing here, you can actually check your holdings by any date, right? You can actually go back in time and right, so you can see June 1st, and actually open your holdings as on June 1st, right? So again, these are small little things, but uh, as I said, these are some things that we are doing at Zerodha, which is completely unique, right? So so we have recently added the visualization for the holdings page. So if you can see this, visualize your holdings with Quant. So if you click on this, you can basically see your same holdings in terms of sectors and in terms of stocks, right? So like if you look at this donut chart, it's very obvious that this person has done a great job diversifying, right? So you don't see one sector which is taken a lot of percentage weightage, right? Every sector has got 10 to 15%. So it is not is well diversified as a stock. So you can click on miscellaneous, so you can, it also shows up with stocks how much. Uh, Also, a cool little thing, is you can actually search by current value or by buy value. That means you can see these donut charts based on the current value of your holdings. If you want to see it by the buy value of your holding, just move this on the right top, right? Current, this button, to move it from left to right. Wow, the way the donut moves is quite cool. Okay, let's do this again. Right, right. So, right? So as I said, small little things, but the fact that the donut moves means someone who designed this actually put some effort to make it move, right? Okay, so yeah, so let's go back to Q, right? So if anyone is in, okay, this holding visualization is part of Quant, right? So if someone wants to go back to Q, right, you will see a drop down here, and then there's an option to go back to Q, right? So guys, you have any questions at any point of time, make sure to stop me, right? Okay, so we've just added this feature right top, a notification. I mean, we've seen this on Facebook quite often, right? uh, so if there is any update on the account, you can actually see it on a notification, right? If there's a short delivery, you can see it. If there is a holdings that gets added, you can see it. As soon as the trade process for the day is done, you can see it, right? So all of these comes as updates here directly, right? So and yeah, you can also see the cash balance and the commodity balance right here. So let's go one by one. So first is a funds tab. um, Funds tab is basically where you can see what's the account balance, the withdrawable balance, and if someone has to submit for any request for withdrawals, this is where he submits, right? Next is portfolio. Okay, so okay, this person doesn't have any open position, but this is where you can see the open positions. Okay, so let me try logging out and taking someone who's got positions. Uh, Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So this person has open positions, so you can actually see the buy quantity and the average price. Now, this is this doesn't tick live currently, right? So if you are actually seeing this average price, this is in previous closing price. So you're seeing this profit based on yesterday's closing price on USD INR September futures, right? So what you need to understand is this is not a live PNL that you're seeing, right? So if you want to see a live PNL, you'll have to go log into your Pi or Kite or whatever front end you're using. This unrealized profit or loss is from the time you purchased to the previous closing price, right? So, so you had bought this at 66.375. Current price is 66.835. So there's a 460 rupees of profit on this open position, right? So again, we can check some of the notification Abdul has received, right? So like there were 3 trades done yesterday. So there was a notification when the trade book was updated. There were equity trades done. There were 1 holdings added. So so this is like a daily digest of whatever is happening on your account. So all you have to come in the evening is come and log in and check this out. Right now, holdings. Okay, so so even Abdullah has got some holdings, right? So okay, yeah. So here's the interesting thing, I guess. So what you see as T1 is basically the quantities which are not delivered yet. So idea is still in T1. So this was probably bought yesterday, in yesterday's trading, and one thing that we have added, which is I think the first time in India, is to be the ability to add discrepant quantities, right? So what happens is, when you open an account with say Zerodha, and assuming you had an account with some other broker before this, and you transfer some of the shares to Zerodha, right? Uh, Zerodha will not know at what price the stock was bought, right? If say someone had bought 100 Infosys in ICICI Demat for 1,000 rupees per share, when he transfers shares to Zerodha's Demat, we don't really know at what price it was bought. So how do we show P&L? How do we show your holdings and holdings with a buy average price, right? So it is not possible. No other brokers allows it, so we do. There's an option called as add edit discrepant quantity. So what we do is we say, for example, for these are the 3 stocks that Hanan's transferred, which we don't know the average price, we don't know the buy date, we don't know we know the quantity, so but we don't know the uh, we don't know the price and buy date. The reason we have added a quantity here is because what if Hanan had bought Coal India in 2 different trades, right? This date is required and the quantity is required for us to calculate the holding period in the holdings page, right? So if Hanan had bought Coal India 10 shares at X price on a X date, another 1 share at some other date, I need to know which of this is short-term capital gain and which comes under long-term, right? So that's why we allow him to actually add a plus, and then he can actually keep adding the he can keep adding the quantity and he can add the buy date. So he can do a plus. So if there are 11 shares, he can add say 10 here at right. So I can add a 10 here and a 1 here, right? So together it becomes 11 now, right? So I can add an average price for these 10 and an average price for this one, right? So small little things again, but as I said, no one allows this, right? So this way what happens is even when we are calculating P&L, we actually get to know his P&L based on even for the shares that he has transferred from somewhere else. Okay, most of the brokers, what would they do is for the P&L, they will not even consider stocks which are transferred from some other broker, right? So yeah, that's about open positions and holdings, right? Uh, right. No, did you see this thing, right? I just did that mistake, So uh, I just said 20. You got an error which says value X. Oh, it is not showing you on the Chromecast but there's an error pop-up that comes. So you can't add. No, I think the pop-ups don't come on the Chromecast. Okay, so yeah, but there is an error, so it doesn't allow you to add more than the quantity out there. And then yeah, once you save it, it comes into a database and it gets saved as a trade, right? Right, right. Yeah, so we will have to go by what is entered as date from the client, right? If a client has entered the wrong date, I mean, we can't help it. I mean, that was his mistake that he entered it wrong, right? But we are giving it based on what he has given as an input, right? If a client has entered a wrong date and he realizes it's the wrong date, he can come to us and we can ask him to get him to update it. No, I mean he can yeah, but a client can still put a wrong date and right. Uh, okay, okay, so yeah, okay, so here's the thing about taxation, right? Taxation is self-policing, right? Income tax department never. So how it works is I go to income tax and I say these are my earnings, this is my long term, this is my short term. Income tax, when I'm filing my ITR, will not ask me for any proof, right? You have to self declare it. It's self policing, right? It's like going to a store and without a cashier and anything, you take an item, put the money there. It's the same way how income tax works. The only problem is with income tax department is once in a while you can get called for a scrutiny, right? And if you are the unlucky one who gets called for scrutiny, and then the income tax realizes that you fudged with something, what, because income tax, when there is a scrutiny and income tax officer calls you, he will ask you for contract notes, right? He will say, this is a contract note, this is a day you bought, why is your P&L saying this is, I mean, so we are not to be held responsible for that. This is completely based on what he's entering, right? Yeah, the thing about income tax department is if you are held for evading taxes, you're as good as done, so I mean, whatever you are evaded, the penalties can be 100, 200, 300% of that, right? So someone has tried to evade paying 10,000 in taxes, he can end up paying penalty of 30,000 rupees. So, and that's how people, that's what keeps people from not trying to cheat the income tax guys, right? So yes, right. See, okay, so I mean, see, for all the shares for which he has bought through us, we will know the trade. For Yeah, so for all the shares for which we cannot find a buy value, those are discrepant, right? Right, so see, for all the shares he's trading with us, we have data with us, right? But for which we don't have data, we will get to know. So I mean, the guys are smart enough to at least figure that much out. That's very simple piece to figure what is not available with us, right? Okay, so yeah, so we spoke about this. We spoke about the breakdown. What else? Any other questions, guys? Okay, so profile, I'll not click on it because Hanan would not want his date of birth to be shown to the world. Okay, so referrals, these things are quite self-explanatory, so if people want to refer, uh, right, yeah, so refer, as I said, name, email, phone number. After you've referred someone, you can look at the wallet, which will kind of show any earnings. So this person doesn't have. So this is self-explanatory, all of this. No, we have. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it was not Hanan, right? Yeah, I remember Venu had referred you. Yeah, so okay. So we can actually. Yes. Yeah. Why don't we log into Venu and see it? Yeah. So we log into Venu's wallet. Right. So Venu has basically referred all of us actually, so I am also on this. So now my thing is also there. I can't even, yeah. So right. So uh, right. So basically, yeah. So this is how you can right now in Venu's, you can actually see he's kept some cash. So so the free cash shows as green piece on the donut, right? So the you can actually see for each of the colors we have a code next to it, right? So free cash from short option also shows as green, but it shows as a green which is sticking out, right, like a piece of green. All long option value is shown as dark brown, margin blocked for FNO as yellow, right? And okay, but like I was telling you with the other account which I showed that time, your account equity account value here is not really your. If someone has taken a short option position, your equity account value is not really your cash account balance, right? So, like I was saying here, in this 23 lakh 57,617 is not this person's balance, because he has used 8 lakh 77. I mean, he's used money to write short options. He's the short option value is close to 4.9. So the actual equity account balance is basically just 19.78 lakhs. So uh, right. So the next screen is a ledger. Ledger is again self-explanatory, right? So you can choose a time period. I can say make it say from May 1st. So yeah, so the ledger again can be, there's equity ledger and there's a commodity ledger, right? So you can basically see all the charges, and I think we are probably one of the cleanest brokers out there. So we call the charges the way it is supposed to be called. So a DP charge is called DP charge. This is trade confirmation charge is basically your SMS cost charge. So there is an option given to every client to actually choose for an SMS. So 1 rupee is charged for every SMS that is sent, right? So yep, being payment gateway charges debited, right? So all kind of charges. I mean, so a ledger is basically has to show all the charges. If it's not showing, that means it's not charged, right? Because we will debit it or credit it only from the ledger. It cannot be debited or credited directly, right? Any question on this, guys? Okay, so so before I come to 60-day challenge, the PNL, this is where we get I think a lot of queries on Q actually, right? So okay, so absolute PNL and indicative PNL, right? So there are these two PNLs that we have decided to have. Again, we are the first ones in the country to do this. So can someone explain me why? Nagaraju, can you tell me why do we have these two PNLs? What does a two PNL signify? What does absolute signify and what does indicative signify? Uh-huh. Right. Mhm. Right. Okay. So this was a question, right? So when we were trying to build a PNL, so the question we asked others was, what do you consider as your profit and loss, right? If I ask you profit and loss between May 1st till May 31st, uh, is there 31 days in May? Yeah, okay, there is. Okay. Okay. So now, assuming you guys are holding on to a portfolio, right? You're holding on to some stocks, or you have FNO positions from before. What is profit for you? What is it? What was your account balance on May 1st, and what is your account balance on May 31st? Or is it, what was my account? What is my profit based on what price I bought it at? Right. So Anil, which one would you consider as your PNL? If you have to look at PNL, okay. Uh, okay. So, but there are people who want to also see indicative, right? They just want to see what happened to my account from this time to this time. Okay, so most brokers out there give you only absolute P&L. So indicative P&L is what we have given over and above that, right? So indicative P&L will basically take the, okay, if you have chosen April 1st to April 31st, April 1st, the previous closing price of April 1st, your account balance is considered based on that price, and it'll consider April 31st closing price. In case of absolute P&L, it'll consider your actual buying price and closing, right? So yeah, so whatever the client wants is right here, right? Uh, and then we have the challenge P&L, which is what you will basically see in the 60-day challenge page, right? So when you click on 60-day challenge, as you guys know, any person can come and start a 60-day challenge here, and then the counter starts number of days from when, how many days left. Let me just click on start here. uh, uh, no, not really. So okay, see, taxation in India is based on what tax slab you're in. Okay, so if you're, it's not a winning, so it is just it. No, it's not a lottery winning. Okay, right. So it's, this is definitely not a lottery winning. Okay, okay. See, at the end of the year, when you're doing taxation, you will have gross profit, gross loss, and then you will have your expenses. Right? If your expenses 1 lakh and you got a refund of 30,000 as brokerage from the 60-day challenge, your expenses now become 70,000, which gets reduced from your total profits for the year. And then you'll have to add that profit from trading to all your other income, and based on whatever tax slab you're in, you have to pay your taxes, right? So this is, yeah, so this got nothing to do anyway. So once we click on start, as you know, the challenge just started for Venu right now. So the days left is 60, right? So that means from tomorrow onwards is his first day. So this counter will keep running down, so it'll keep going down 60, 59, 58 and things like that. We also show the past challenges, right? uh, Now, what we have done in 60-day challenge, which is different from the other P&Ls. So let me go back to the P&L. Uh, right. So as you can see, you have three P&Ls: absolutive, indicative, and challenge. A challenge P&L is basically an indicative P&L between the first day of the challenge to the last day of the challenge, right? Because we are saying in the challenge period that we will only consider profit based on starting day, right? So someone is holding Infosys from 5 years, bought at 1,000 rupees, and today he sells it at 5,000 rupees. We will not tell him that you made 4,000 rupee profit and give him, say, you're a winner of a challenge. We will consider the value of Infosys on the first day of the challenge. So if it was 990 rupees on the first day and today it is 1,000 rupees, we'll say 10 rupees is what you have earned, right? Everything else is not really counted. Okay. Also, the other issue, which we faced in PNL challenge was uh, what else was it, Vinay? This was right, right. So yeah, so corporate actions. Okay, okay. So some of the issues that we faced in PNL was someone transfers shares from another demat account. He can go and enter any buying price, any date in the we have a discrepant quantity, right? So he can go and say, I bought Infosys at 500 rupees and I sold it today at 1,000 rupees. So he can very easily win the challenge. But yeah, but our man Vinay is the detective for us, so he's spotting those cases where people are trying to take us for a ride there, right? So hey, we need to keep this private to only Zerodha guys, I think. Right, so I mean, when we share it, it has to stay private. Okay, so but it is possible to transfer shares and put a this thing, so just to win the challenge. But yeah, but we have kind of limited it right now. Okay, so uh yeah, now we have blocked it. So now what happens is, okay, so 1 second. Okay, so when I come explain 60 challenge. Yeah, it's broadcast. No, whoever wants to see it.
People who are watching should know. No? Hi, this is Vinay. Hi, this is Vinay here. Yes. Guys, ये बेचारा ये सीईओ नहीं है तो इसकी बात नहीं सुनना है क्या? लाइव चल रहा है. लाइव चल रहा है. शो लाइव चल रहा है. बोल रहे थे. Okay. Under 60-day challenge, if the client wants to view what is his performance, actually he can see is whatever the trades he has done. Okay. Currently, we have restricted to few things like if the client has transferred the shares and if he is trying to sell, we are not considering all those trades under 60 day. So there has to be a buy entry, like during that 60-day period, he has to buy the stock. And if he exit the position within the 60 day, then only we will consider. If he buys and if he carries for a long term, we don't consider. Whatever he is carrying earlier, and if he sells right now, we don't consider. So only the trades which are done during the 60-day challenge, only those details we will consider. So if I started my trade, if I started my challenge, on day one I bought some stock, I don't exit it by 60th day. What do you do? You take the price on the 60th day? No, we don't consider at all. You don't consider that at all? No. You have to exit the trade. Yes, yes. Only if you exit, then only we'll consider. Otherwise, we don't consider. Yeah, enter and exit. Hanan, I'm here. P&L is displaying, but there it is not displaying. Oh, it's displaying now? No, not this one. Report.
No, yeah, okay. So when you're doing Chromecast, you have to basically cast it. Yeah, so you need to cast that tab. Right, so yeah, so you opened yeah, okay, the P&L page. Yeah, so this is how a P&L page looks, right? Okay, so guys, I'll tell you what. Okay, I've traded with so many brokers in my life, and this other credit/debits, right? No one puts it up this way. Okay, so this is always usually hidden somewhere or the other. Okay, so we are probably the only guys who are actually doing it this clean. Anand, can you please sit down? Yeah. Right. So okay, the reason I'm telling you all of this is that these are all pluses that we have as a business, right? I mean, I was trading with a broker. I didn't have a demat account. In a year, he had charged me 12,000 rupees as DP charges, right? So, and then it was hidden somewhere in the whole ledger. So no one really. I mean, the thing about people, right, is that they don't really look at details, right? They always look at the big picture. Oh, what is my profit? What is my loss? It's done, right? No one actually goes into details to see, right? All of us get Airtel mobile bills. How many of you actually see what each of those charges are, the small ones, right? We don't, right? So what a lot of businesses try to do is, they try to kind of sugarcoat it and not sugarcoat it. It's probably the opposite of sugarcoated. They probably mislead people into assuming those are taxes and things like that. So we are the only ones who do it, right? So you can actually see what was the entire charges paid by Venu in this period. So this period is so between these 3 months, right? And yeah, so the P&L is quite self-explanatory, as I said. So it is there is a buy average price, there's a buy value, there's a sell quantity, sell average, and realized profit, right? So if one of those things that we have done on the equity P&L right now, which again a lot of brokers don't do, is we have started corporate action is something that we have included, right? So the P&L. So assuming you have okay, this is actually a very interesting topic. Okay, so assuming you have one share of Infosys bought at 1,000 rupees, right? Or actually say 2,000 because Infosys at 2,000 recently. Okay, so now you buy one. So there was a bonus for Infosys, right? A corporate action is things like bonus, splits, rights issue and things like that, right? So merger, demerger, all of that are corporate actions, right? So the I think what has happened in the last 1 year is every company has been going out there and giving bonus shares. Okay, now here's the crazy thing about bonus, right? Is that assuming you have one share at 2,000 rupees of Infosys, now Infosys comes and declares one bonus share for every share you held. You guys know what happens to Infosys the day the bonus comes? What will happen to the stock price of Infosys? Right? If so, instead of having one share at 2000, now you'll have two shares, which market value is 1000. So your actual value of Infosys still remains the same, right? It was 2000 before it, 2000 after it. Uh, but my dad, as soon as he gets to hear that Infosys bonus is coming, he wants to buy it because he thinks he'll get more shares. But the thing is, the thing about corporate action is that yes, you'll get more shares, but the stock price also drops, right? Okay. But the interesting thing about bonus is this: the new share which the company credits to you as bonus, the cost price for that is 0. Okay. So that means on the books of the company, you have one share for which you bought at 2000 rupees, another one share which is bought at 0 rupees. Okay. So now you have two shares bought at average price of 1000 rupees. Okay. What is the issue this can cause? I mean, is there an opportunity in this? Okay. So this is basically called as bonus stripping. Okay. A lot of big guys, no, in bonus, when a stock splits, if Infosys splits one share, it's 2000 into two shares, it becomes the cost value of the two shares is actually 1000 rupees. But when there's a bonus share, you actually get the additional share for 0 cost. Okay, so the good thing here is, what is the current market price of Infosys? 1000, right? What was the price at which you bought the first one share? Assuming you sell that one share, what did you just do? You booked a loss of 1000 rupees. Okay, that's called as bonus stripping, right? So what it means is, assuming you had a profit of 1000 rupees somewhere else, right? You just created 1000 rupees of artificial loss. So you don't have to pay any taxes. Otherwise, what you would have to do is, for the first 1000 rupees, whichever profit you made somewhere else, you would have had to pay 15% as taxes. So you would have paid 150 rupees as taxes. But when you saw this bonus issue from Infosys, what you did, you bought one share before the bonus was announced. You waited for Infosys bonus to happen. You sold it. You sold one share. You booked a loss of 1000 whatever rupees, and then you got away from paying short-term capital gain tax, right? So, so these are things, I mean, which are, I mean, not a layman investor actually knows about. Okay, so now currently we have an option. If you come to tax P&L, we have something called as tax loss harvesting, right? So basically, tax loss harvesting. Okay, this bonus stripping is also actually part of tax loss harvesting. That means you are trying to figure out where can you book losses to reduce your taxes, right? So, currently we don't show a bonus issues here, but this is something that we're working on currently, right? So we're working on something currently where this. Okay, so right now, as you can see in Venu's account, there is holdings with unrealized loss of 7,300 rupees. So what Venu can easily do is book this loss by selling it, right? And then buy it back again in, okay, he could sell it in NSE and buy it back in BSE. So now as soon as he does it, he's booked the 7,500 rupee loss, right? If he has made profit somewhere else, he can come in here and he can actually reduce the taxes. Okay, again, we are the first guys in India to give a tax loss harvesting report, right? A report which will actually tell you what is the opportunity out there. Okay, this opportunity which is showing right now, it is showing for last financial year, so it's showing 0. But right now in Venu's case for this year, there's a tax loss harvesting opportunity of 7,400 rupees, which he can use to reduce, his profit if there is any profit, right? So, so very soon we'll also start adding the bonus into this tax loss harvesting opportunity, right? So, but the way the markets are going this year, I don't think anyone's getting any bonus, but yeah, but okay, where were we? Were in tax P&L. Okay, so okay, guys, I think I mean, if someone is listening to this afterwards, or all of you guys, what we need to stress on that we are doing brilliantly at Zerodha is all the tax initiatives. Okay, so one of those things that has happened, I don't know if I've told you guys already, is if you have a transaction of 10 lakh rupees in your bank account, okay, like I was telling just a little while before, income tax thing is self-policing, right? What you file your income tax returns, the income tax department believes what you're filing is right. But they're going to pick up a few people and say, dude, have you guys done it or not? Okay, how does the income tax department pick up these few people? right? They pick up this few people by the red flags they get from banking and from now onwards the exchanges, right? So if you have a 10 lakh rupee transaction in your bank account, a single transaction, it's a red flag. Income tax department gets to know it, and then they call you for a scrutiny. Okay, so if you do a lot of cash based transaction in your bank account, you're adding a lot of cash, you're withdrawing a lot of cash, even then the income tax department gets to know that you're doing something wrong, right? They call you for a scrutiny. Okay, the good thing here is income tax. Okay, 3% of Indians file income tax, right? uh, so there are not enough income tax officers to handle 4 crore Indians, right? So income tax officers can't, income tax department can't send so many notices because there are not enough officers out there, right? So that's a good thing, I mean, if someone's fudging the, or not filing it correctly, the good thing is there are not enough income tax officers. The chance of getting a scrutiny is very little, right? But okay, this is a crazy thing that's happened. We one of the reasons we put up the module in varsity for taxation was because uh, from the beginning of this year, exchanges have started sharing complete trade data with income tax department. Okay. Now, the way income tax department looks at a bank statement of a 10 lakh rupee transaction, it has started looking at the trading data also similarly. So it's looking at turnover data, right? So if a person has bought one lot of gold, right? He has just bought 25 lakhs and sold 25 lakhs. So that's a red flag for, right? So suddenly, income tax departments has these people who have 1 lakh in the account but have done 100 crores of turnover, right? But they're not looking, because income tax department will not get from the exchange the money in their account. They will just get the turnover data, right? So they are basically sending out blanket notices based on turnover data, right? Uh, so it becomes imperative that anyone who's trading the markets today has to file taxes, right? There is no getting away from it. Uh, uh, Now, the varsity module, like I guess all of you know this. Right, so we go to varsity, and I think my internet became slow because of this. Okay, so right, so we have a module on taxation, right? So hopefully you guys have seen it. So we have a complete module here, and some people had a problem on where I'm keeping my hand in the pockets. Apparently it is too close to something else. Right. Anyway, so you can download the PDF and you can download the iBook. So right. So yeah. Anyway, so this is our tax P&L. Right. So another thing about tax P&L is everyone who trades futures and options and everyone who is doing intraday trading has to use a form called ITR4. Okay, ITR, the income tax receipt, the form using which you submit to the exchange, to the IT department, saying this is how much I made or lost. There are different kind of forms: ITR1, ITR2, ITR4, ITR4S, or whatever. Right. So ITR1 is for people like who have only salary income. Right. So a lot of you guys who have only salary income, you don't have to use any other form. You can use ITR1, and ITR1 can be done online. ITR2 is for people who have salary income plus capital gains. That means if I'm buying and selling stocks, right, that is only delivery based trading, I can use ITR2, right? ITR4 is for people who have capital gains plus who have trading income, right? Anyone who's doing speculative trading, okay, any trade that happens in intraday equity is called a speculative. It's considered as a business. Any trading that happens in F&O, be it equity, commodity, currency, they're all considered as business. So ITR4 has to be used in case of business income, right? So when you're using ITR4, turnover becomes a very important play, right? In ITR4, when you're filing your income tax returns using an ITR4, it is as good as you being a business. Okay, so in ITR4, there is a requirement of an audit, right? There are two ways you can file ITR4. One, on your own, right? You can go online and submit ITR4 forms. The second way is you get it audited by a chartered accountant, right? What is an audited by a chartered accountant? You actually go to a CA and say, dude, all of this, this is how much I've done. and chartered accountant puts his signature and says, dude, what he has done is correct, right? So what the IT department has done is it says ITR 4 needs to be audited if the business is big, right? So small businesses don't come under ITR 4, right? A grocery shop doesn't come under ITR 4. A small coffee wala doesn't come under ITR 4 audit. I mean to say, right? A coffee wala outside should actually use ITR 4 form. Okay. The tragedy in India though is that only 3% of India is paying for what 100% of India is using, right? I mean, the same roads are used by everyone, but uh, only 3% of the guys are actually paying taxes. And I mean, whatever said and done, I think we're collecting very little tax, because of which India is going nowhere, right? So, but anyway, so turnover comes into play. Now, one of the biggest problems in India is IT department hasn't thought about people who trade the markets, right? Because they consider 1 crore as a number for a business to be big, right? That means if I have a grocery shop, if I do a turnover of 1 crore in a year, IT department says, dude, you're a big guy, so you make sure it gets audited, right? You go to a chartered accountant, get a seal. You can afford to pay chartered accountant some money to get it audited, right? So what is 1 crore turnover for a grocery shop? Whatever he buys and sells, whatever profit he makes on that trade, right? I bought 100 kilos of rice for 1,000 rupees, and I sold it to people for 2,000 rupees. My profit was 1,000 rupees. So that is my turnover, right? All such profits and whatever added during the year, if it's more than 1 crore, the grocery shop guy has to get it audited. Now the problem in the market is I can have 50,000 in my account and I can generate a lot of turnover, right? So we have taken a petition on change, right? So all of you guys signed on it. So asking for someone at IT department to look at it and say, dude, please exclude stock market participants out of this rule. Now, we are the first guys to actually teach people all of this, because last year what happened was, I think there were 1 million notices sent out to people who didn't get their forms audited, right? So if, for example, if last year, if you filed returns with a turnover of more than 1 crore without getting it audited, they've sent notices to all those guys saying, get an audit and refile it, right? So what we are doing right now is basically we are trying to educating people all of this, right? So trading doesn't end just by transferring money and buying and selling. Okay? There is, after that whole thing is done, there is something you have to do to complete that cycle, which is to file your taxes, right? So we actually we are the first guys out there to give a proper turnover statement, right? The reason turnover is required is, oh, I can't stream this. Okay. It's an Excel sheet. I can't Chromecast it. Okay. Right. Anyway, so it's an Excel sheet. Okay. Turnover can be calculated two types. People, you can go to Varsity and you can see how it is calculated, right? But there is script-wise turnover, which you can see on the left here, right? For example, total turnover in Venu's case for currency trading is 357.5 if it is script-wise. If you want to see trade-wise, you can click here, right? And yeah, so that's about tax P&L. Okay, so Venu is an admin, so you cannot see admin tools for normal people. Right now, very interesting bit here is Quant. I don't think a lot of people have actually looked at Quant. So basically, what the idea behind Quant is, we intend to add a lot of more reports. The idea behind Quant was, okay, before I get here, anything on P&L? Any questions on P&L? Tax P&L, normal P&L, absolute P&L.
Like if you want to see on the present day, whatever questions that we are having previously, that will also be taken into consideration. So why
Right.
is that so?
Okay, so Renu is asking if you want to see today's P&L. Today's P&L as in today's daily P&L.
Whatever is done.
Right. Okay, so if you want to see only today's value, Hanan, yes, Hanan, please, yeah. So what Renu is asking is that if a person wants to see only today's P&L, why are we considering previous day's price, right? So all you have to do is you have to basically choose indicative PNL and shows today's date.
No, no, not that.
Huh.
So when I'm seeing today's PNL,
Uh-huh.
I have previous day's positions. Say Nifty, previous day I had some two lots.
Huh.
Today I've entered again two lots,
Uh-huh.
and I should only see today's PNL, but it will take into consideration.
Right, right, right. Okay, yeah. So the thing is, if you have Nifty future from before, and you're saying you bought something today, you want only what you bought today's, right? It doesn't work like that, right? So as soon as you bought two Nifty futures today, it gets added to the previous one. So we cannot digress it and show two separate P&Ls. And I mean, if it is two different stocks, you'll automatically see it. Even there, you can't. Deva is right, yeah. So yeah, so it'll not be possible here to actually show that. So
Because few clients will
huh.
be asking that I want to see only today's. I don't want the previous days.
Okay. Uh, they want to see only today's on Q.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, you guys know why he's asking for only today's PNL? Because probably today is making profit on that. You want to be in that. Uh, yeah. Hey guys, it's. I mean, at least in. Huh? Yeah. I mean, he has to. Right. Okay. So the thing is, in equity, it is possible, as you guys know, right? In equity, and if you go to holdings, you can see a breakdown, right? You can see which stock was bought when. But yeah, but in FNO, we can't really do breakdowns. I mean, it's just gonna be ridiculous amounts of effort for nothing at all. So right, yeah. So anything else? So yeah, you just need to tell the client that it's FNO, right? It just gets added to each other. So we can't find only today's profit. If you want, log into Nest, Pi, Kite, whatever, and see it there. Right. Huh. Huh? All carry. Oh yeah, yeah. Right. So guys, hmm? Yeah. Okay. So guys, all calculations for holdings open position happens on FIFO, right? First in, first out, right? If you bought 10 shares at 100, then you bought 10 shares at 110, then you sold 10 shares at 200. We consider the first 10 which was bought 100 is gone out, right? So a client can't choose what has gone out, right? It has to be followed based on first in, first out. So all the calculation, holdings calculation, PNL calculation, open position calculations, all of them are done based on FIFO actually. So right. So let's quickly go through Quant. Right. You can basically, yeah, you can go to Quant here. The idea behind Quant was everyone knows the rules to trade the markets, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't go against the trend. I mean, what other rules have you heard about the market? Yeah. Uh, when in doubt, exit and blah, blah, blah. Right. So, uh, yeah, do puja before trading, wait for the sun to rise before you, uh, right. So, but anyways, so we kind of realize that no one really follows those rules, right? Uh, like I keep pitching this to everyone. Why does someone ask me to why no one has told me to stop at a traffic signal, but I still stop at a traffic signal? Why do I stop when it's a red light? Because I know there's a penalty if I jump the signal, right? So the idea was, we said, let's show people where they lose money when they break the rules, right? And that's where we came up with this idea of Quant. I mean, this is just the beginning of all the reports we intend to add, right? So for now, for example, like a weekday overview, like you can very clearly see that Mondays are when Venu makes the most money, and Wednesdays are the ones when he loses uh, the maximum money, right? So okay, so the thing is, the whole technical analysis thing, right? It all goes based on this whole past behavior can be used to predict future behavior. I mean, stock market is predictions, right? So it is, it's all around superstitions. So So yeah, I would never trade without my shoes on, so, and I don't know if it would make any difference at all, but yeah, so, right, so this is, yeah, but as I said, yeah, it could probably make people superstitious, but yeah, but this is what we are seeing, we are seeing as trends, right? Now, we have done a small little cute little thing here. These profitabilities are without charges. If you want to see with charges, you can just do a y. So profits tend to reduce with the charges. Now, these charges which are put as y, you have a small little tooltip. uh, so basically this is an approximate charge. Okay, this is not uh, this is not exact charge. There's just basically an approximate cost of it. You can basically do it only for one something which specific which you have traded. So you can choose a symbol and do it. You can choose it for a time period. And then you have weekday breakdowns. So this was in terms of how much money he made or lost on Monday by taking a trades. A weekday breakdown will tell you the number of trades. It's based on, see, 33 out of 48 trades Venu has been profitable on a Tuesday. uh, so this is in terms of number of trades. The previous one was in terms of amount of money made or lost, right? So you can basically plot all these, how is all of these lines keeps getting added. Yeah, because there are a few Saturdays where you had mock trading, not mock trading, that disaster management. So there have been trades, there have been exchanges been open on a Saturday, and I think one Sunday last year or something like that. So, right, so yeah, so Saturday, there were a few Saturdays where the trading have happened. So okay, so same way, weekday, you can actually also see weekly, right? First, second, third, fourth, and fifth week, right? The idea behind showing the fourth week was because fourth week is typically the expiry week, right? So we wanted to show people how they perform when markets are volatile, right? So so typically what we have seen mostly is uh, you know expiry weeks are when, so most people tend to uh, have a loss. Yeah, so because expiry week is when people are, basically, there's markets a lot more volatile than other weeks, right? And so people try to get aggressive and try to over trade. I mean, this is what even we. And then we have a nice little visualization on how the profitability last 1 year, how has last 1 year been for Venu, for example. March 2015 was not great, but otherwise generally Venu has been uh, up and down, I mean, mostly up. You can also see this daily, right? Chart looks beautiful, right? So yeah, so anyway, so it's these are all, daily profitability, so how it is worked. Another thing that I always used to follow was streaks, right? Again, you can call it superstition, but uh, so just the law of averages in life says that you cannot keep winning all the time, right? And like, for example, now you see that Venu has got a 10-day streak. That means uh, he was for 10 days in a row, he was straight profitable. So assuming Venu is trading again, and now he's on the 9th day, right? And he knows that, dude, I'm just running in this crazy streak. So should he increase his trading size or should he decrease his trading size, right? So ideally, as and when you're okay, so I think trading is all about risk management. It's about how you manage your money. It's not about what fancy strategy you use. It's not about any of that. It's all about how you manage how much money you lose, and how do you make more when you win, and how do you lose less when you lose, right? Trading is all about that, right? All those people who keep searching for holy grail of trading, it's not there, right? So it's basically about uh, all about money management, so yeah, so streaks is a good way, right? Streaks is a good way to actually see if where you are as a uh, as part of the streak. That was uh, okay. So what did we look at? We looked at time based. Okay, so market trends. Okay, so some people are good in bullish markets, some people are good trading the bearish markets, right? So Venu is really good trading the bullish markets, right? So he's profitable 70% of the days. So Venu is more long only guy. So so that's why he's making money on bullish days and is typically losing money on bearish days, right? Uh, okay, so how is bullishness and bearishness shown, right? So we have given actually four options here, uh, by which a person can actually define what is bullishness or bearishness for him. Okay, so he can he can basically look at simple moving average. This simple moving average is of Nifty. Okay, so we have taken the market's simple moving average. So that means right now what we are giving is we are giving a weightage of 35% for simple moving average. Okay, so a day is considered bullish 35% if a simple moving average is above the 5-day moving average. 40% weightage is given if the open and close, open minus close. So if the close is greater than open, then it's a bullish day, right? So 40% is weightage is going to that. So high low, right? So bullish of the it's more bullish if the the closing of the day is towards the highest of the day, right? So if a market closes at high point of the day, that means it's most bullish, right? So these are the three options through which you can define your bullishness, bearishness. You can easily change this, right? So you can increase, decrease the weightage, right? So every time. um,
Also, I think we need something for choppy market as well, right? That's not really because we spend a lot more time in a choppy market than
right,
straight bullish or bearish.
right. So we'll have to add another one, yeah. So I'll make a note. Yeah, I'll make a note on figuring out how we can show choppy markets on this, right? How loud are you, my man? Right. Okay. So again, you have an option of charges, no, yes. Okay. Contract wise, I mean, I don't know. Okay. So if you look at this, should Venu be trading ITC call options? Right? He should probably not be trading ITC call options, right? So basically, what this contract was is showing is it's basically showing how Venu's performed a particular contract, right? So he's again, I mean, he's not done too much FNO trading, but this is a really nice tool for people who are doing FNO trading, right? Because some people are really good trading Nifty futures, some people are really good trading Bank Nifty futures, right? But suddenly some guy decides, oh, I'm, let me trade Bank Nifty, right? So this is a way to tell those guys saying, dude, see, these are the contracts where you're good at, so try focusing on that. And all the beauty about quant is that it's all based on a person's own historical data, right? Okay, and the assumption again, like technical analysis, is you can use historical data to predict the future, right? Now, if you don't believe in that assumption, yeah, probably this is not the right tool to use, so right. So we have an equity curve, uh, which is having a little problem right now, but Satya is going to fix it. Okay, so what is showing right now is not really correct data. What's the equity curve? Okay, so this yellow, what you're seeing is a Nifty. Okay, so it's basically saying if 100 rupees was invested into Nifty versus Nifty investing into Venu's portfolio, how is what is performed, right? So some issue with this chart will be fixed by tomorrow, but so right now what it's saying is that 100 rupees invested into Nifty would have been 125 rupees, but 100 rupees invested into Venu's portfolio would be minus 234 rupees, right? So which is not possible, right? So this data is currently wrong, right? But if you look at every mutual fund out there, how they benchmark themselves, right? They all benchmark against the Nifty index, right? They all say in a period where Nifty moved 30%, my mutual fund did 50%. So I beat the index by 20%. So this equity curve will basically give Venu or everyone else who holds a portfolio. Okay, equity curve doesn't consider futures and options positions, right? Equity curve is only for equity, right? Only your stock portfolio, right? How your stock portfolio has performed compared to the Nifty index, right? So, right. And then holding analytics. We guys already saw the holding analytics. So as you can see, Venu is actually has got 52% in automobiles. So he's not well diversified, right? So right. So like there is a saying, you show me the stocks, I'll tell you what the person is. So so, I mean, so yeah, so Venu is probably more automobile guy. So yeah, but anyways, so uh, this is all about quant. So any doubts, queries? So as I said, this is just the beginning of quant. uh, One of those tools that we are about to go live is, you in the top here, right next to more analytics here, you'll get a search bar. Okay, so this will probably be live by tomorrow. It'll be a search bar where if you enter any script, it'll give you a small detailed search report on that script based on your performance, how much profit you have made, how many trades you have done, how many everything. It's a small snippet. Um, it's like, on Zomato, if you search for a restaurant, you get a small little snippet about all those small little things, and then you can see it in detail. The same way we have it. Okay, one of those things that we didn't show on, which I really like, is our trade book visualization. Right. So it's sort of a heat map. Right. So you can look at it and know where more trades have happened. Right. So it's a really good. We can probably show it in Hanan's account, where a lot of more, sorry, Abdul's account, where okay, so guys, we need to make this private for sure. So we can't be showing this to our clients. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so Hanan's visualization is a lot better. So if I want to know Monday 31st August what trades, I click on it. I know there are 2 equity trades. I click on this. My internet is slow because, yeah, so but anyways, so these were the 2 trades that happened in Hanan's account yesterday, right? So it's a nice little way of looking at it, right? Now quickly, before we run this too long, I'll run through Kite. Okay, guys, on Kite, a bunch of new features are getting added, right? So why is my Wi-Fi so? Yes, the demo version of Q and Quant has all of the data. Okay, so contract notes is something these guys are working on. So so we will have contract notes showing up there very soon. Oh, the markets have closed, right? The currency markets. Okay. Okay, so that is all those pop-up sound is basically the trademark of Kite. Okay. Now we have the thing about Kite is everything on Kite can actually be done without the use of the mouse, right? So so the backtick is a search. Okay, so automatically the search opens. The search is actually really cool. So if you want to add, give me a contract, say Nifty September C, say 8500, right? And I hit enter, it gets added. So it's basically as I said, it's a really cool tool. So you can actually use down arrow to up arrow to actually go up and down on the thing. B is buy, SSL, C is chart. Let me open, say, a C. Yeah, before that, I mean, something that Kay was just showing me. Yeah, can you see this book here next to DA17? If you click on it, this actually sticks out, right? So see, a lot of people like to go back to order book for seeing pending orders, right? So what this will do is basically this will stick this pending orders out here all the time. Okay, so this button, you click it, it goes back, right? The good thing here is that if you say, assuming I open a bank Nifty chart, you can still see the pending orders, right? So that means you could be trading anywhere and you can still keep looking at your pending orders just by clicking this button, right? And we have that cool little notification here as well. right? Anytime any order gets bought, sold, rejected, whatever happens, it gets notified here, right? And yeah, as a chart, I mean, there is advanced chart, but we are making this chart a crazy strong right now. So we have the new charting library should be out in the next 1 week, 10 days. So you have uh, crazy number of studies. Right now also there are a lot of studies, but a lot of studies here are not really working. The chart types right now we have only these three, but we'll get all those Kagis and Renkos and whatever. So right now another issue here is that you can't choose a time period. So you can't choose if I want to see a chart for the last 100 days. Oh Jesus, I can't stream that. Okay, okay. Anyways, but the thing is, the default chart that you see here can't. Yeah, so you cannot add too many things, right? So this is basically just a basics chart. You can't add any studies, you can't do anything here. If you want to see all of that, you have to click on advanced chart and go there, right? And all the other thing is actually self-explanatory here. I mean, the good things is if you're in positions, you can go here, you can exit the position, you can click here and exit the position, you can go to holdings. So we just made the holdings live, so the PNL on the holdings will be ticking live. So you have an exit button wherever you want. Funds and yeah, so I mean, this is probably as simple as a platform can get, right? So if you actually see Pulse here, so what we have done is, what we're trying to do in Pulse is we're trying to push news related to what you're trading on. Okay, so so if I'm trading, so each of these news items has some keywords to it. So we are trying to see if you're trading any of those keywords, and then we try to push that news on Pulse here. So you kind of get that. So and then yeah, and then Varsity for all the people who want to kind of understand something. So another thing that we are doing on the chart is, when you pop out the chart, which is basically when you click on advanced chart, we're going to give a buy or sell window on the chart itself, so people can trade from the chart directly. So and also the other thing is, if so we have seen a lot of people try to basically keep refreshing, right? What they do is they click here, they click here, they click here. So this actually hurts the performance of the Kite platform, right? So the best thing for you to tell them to do is right click on this and open in a new tab, right? I can't show it to you on this because Chromecast doesn't allow it, but whichever tab you're on, if you're on positions, right click on positions and say open in a new tab, right? And keep it open on the side. You can open as many tabs as you want, right? You can open 25, I mean, there are not 25 different options, but you can keep holdings in one, order book one, funds in one, and keep it all open and not really do this tick 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 tick, because it just hurts the performance, right? So whenever you're explaining, try to explain to the people, because a lot of people are not used to this thing, right? A lot of people are used, in the panic, they just do, they click on 4 5 different tabs at one time, because every time you click on a tab, what happens is basically the platform has to go pull the data for it, right? So if you're not on really powerful internet connections, it will take time to pull the data, and then it slows down the entire user experience for you, right? And then about the Kite market watch thing, I mean, as I said, you can click on this to see the drop down. Right now it will not show because the market is
By default, when you click on it, it opens on a separate tab.
yeah. So the thing is, it is not a very on Facebook you have so many options. Do you see them opening on separate tabs?
This requires that.
Right. Eh? Okay, so the thing is, right. Okay, so yeah, so P, F, O, all of this are shortcut keys to see different things here, right? Yeah, but the thing is, any good designer on the web will say that you should open as little tabs as possible, right? Opening a new tab is not is not a very good UI thing to do. The user experience thing is to actually keep him within the same tab, right? So and if you actually see any platform that you use, Facebook's, Twitter's, to anything, Google's, to everything else, they all keep you within the same tab, unless you say I want to go to a different tab, right? So So yeah, so I know our platform is different, but the thing is, when you start sending people to new tabs, even search engines don't like it, right? What search engine? Huh? Yeah, Z5 has a lot of things that is not required, but yeah, uh, but as I was saying, right? So yeah, what Google looks at it is, I mean, if you have a website which where every click takes you a new tab, when Google search engine bots, right, see this happening, they say that this guy is doing this to create more traffic, right? And then they actually downgrade those sites, right? So if you have a website, if you're ever designing a website, you should never make one click open in a new tab. Okay, now uh, within Kite, the issue will not be there, because once you're logged in, Google can't see behind a login, right? Google search engine optimization doesn't come into play when you're behind a login, right? So for right now, for on Kite, we're getting close to 2 million hits a month, but it doesn't get added to our search engine optimization, because whatever I'm doing right now in this behind the login, Google can't pick it up, right? Google can look at only what is outside and for public, right? So uh, yeah, so as I said, okay, so another cool feature, I mean, if someone's, I mean, you can you know rely, I mean, you can search for whatever is here, right? I mean, if you have a lot of positions, you can basically search for a certain thing. um, I mean, I think he had done a fancy little thing, so he had also said, so basically when you say 2, it will show wherever 2 is. If you say it'll show, I mean, you can basically search, it's like a Google kind of a search. You say CI. mm, yeah, see, this is basically what happens when you do too many clicks, right? So okay, so you want to say all CNC positions. What the hell? No, I think I have a caps on. Oh, no, I got it. No, you know what is happening? C is basically to pull a chart. So this is, no, if I'm clicking, this is a bug. So we just spotted one, right? So yeah, so but for example, if I do NRML, so it just filters out NRML, right? So if I do Nifty, it filters out only Nifty, right? So if I mm, yeah, so the thing what we need to do is show if we can just make a note of this, right? So when I'm in the search box, other shortcut keys should not work, right? So yeah, so if I choose 25, it shows me all the quantities which are 25, right? So yeah, right now the bug is that if I'm inside the search box and if I'm using C and P and all of that, the shortcut keys are getting, and it shouldn't happen. Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically the open, high, low, close that you can see, for every stock, right? Uh, if you bring your cursor over this, this will get, the last traded price will get blocked. Okay, so you move the cursor, so uh yeah. And what else is there? Mm, okay, the watch list, right? uh the market watch doesn't, so the market watch on Pi and Kite, even on Pi, right, the market watch which you add, if you open in a different computer, it doesn't show, right? So right now the thing is, because the market watch on Pi or Kite is getting saved on the cloud, but there is no connectivity between Kite and Pi right now, right? So what we are adding here doesn't get captured onto Pi, so the what, never in Nest, between all the Nest platforms there is a connectivity, right? But between Nest to Kite, between Nest to Pi, or between Kite and Pi, there is no connectivity, so none of these things get saved, in one place. Yeah. uh, yeah, so that's one of the things they're working on right now. So they will have an option to add multiple watch lists, right? So we will give 30 35 per watch list, but you can add multiple watch lists. So we're also trying to populate things like top Nifty 50 and like preset watch lists, so which people can use, right? Right now it's 15, but yeah, because it's a beta, we are slowly trying to add more, right? Because our thing was that if you add more than, if you have 30 here, it generally spoils the UI of the uh, whole thing, right? I mean, it's just going to keep running down and down, so um, What else? Okay, so in Kite, what happens is, okay, right. So that no, that yes, yes. Okay, so the thing is, what we have decided is that even if it doesn't have DMAT, we're gonna show him equity scripts. Okay, because a lot of people have come back to us saying, why you're not showing me? So we have decided to show it, but he will not be able to so trade on it, right? So what we're doing right now is one of the things that tech team guys are working on is to ensure that as soon as someone says buy or sell on equity, it says segment not enabled. Right? So that currently the error doesn't show. It still shows a buy or sell window. Yeah. So yeah. So ideally the buy or sell itself shouldn't open, right? So it should say you're not enabled. If you want to enable, contact support. Right. So yeah, that bit we are working on. Okay. Yeah. So the idea is, as I said, so our from next week onwards, we will put our DMAT forms so everyone gets DMAT by default, right? Okay. So okay, let's go to that once we get done. Okay. So anything else on this? Okay. Okay. So right now we are working on MCX, right? So MCX should be up in the next 2 weeks. BSC will probably take at least 4 more weeks. So we still don't have BSC data feeds. So it'll take us a bit for uh, BSC to go live on Kite, right? But NSE is NSE and MCX is 99% of our business. So both of that should be out in the next 2 weeks, right? Right. Huh? Oh yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. If you want to add the index CNX Nifty, right? So CNX Nifty is the name of index, right? So if you want to add, so he's done it already. So you search for index, it'll show all the index data that we're getting right now, right? So this search is actually probably like so cool, it's not even funny. Okay, but right. So yeah, so it's you can basically, as I said, you can search for index and it'll show all the indices out there. Um, what else? Mm, charts are quite self-explanatory, but I'm telling you, the new charting package you are getting, it's a much more advanced version of the same. So this chart looks really nice on the eyes, right? So it looks really sweet, and then it's really fast, right? So you can keep doing this, and so it's a really cool thing, but it'll get a lot more cooler in the next few days. So we are also getting the things like trading from the chart, which is on the pie. One is giving a buy sell button on the chart, but the second thing is to draw a line and say buy above this and sell below this. All those things also will come on the web, right? Yeah, so we will soon start giving that data. Yeah, right. No, for intraday data, right? Yeah, intraday data will limit. The thing about intraday data, giving a lot of it is, okay, the guys here who are neo trade guys, they're like data vendors. They still give only 90 days. And most data vendors, the reason is because the more data you give, the when one is load on the server, bandwidth costs, etc. But the thing is, the issue is with the guys who don't have good bandwidth speeds. Right? I mean, they don't have good internet, good bandwidth. What happens is he tries to pull a lot of data, and then his system crashes, and then he comes and blames the platform for it, right? Huh. Right. Right now it includes. Right now it includes. No, but as I said, we are looking at. Okay, let me just stop this. How do I stop this? Oh, stop.